Hey guys, let's talk about tonight's premiere episode of Legends of Tomorrow. There was a lot going on. We got introduced to a lot of new characters. If you have not been watching Arrow or The Flash, this would be the first time that you're getting to know all 8 of these new legends that are going to be present every week on this series. So, of course, we were introduced to Rip Hunter, who is the one who basically rounds up this group of bandits to become the Legends of Tomorrow. And he rallies them all together with the purpose of killing Vandal Savage. And we got a glimpse of who he was when they did if you, like I said, if you watch The Flash or The Arrow, they had already sort of done a slight origin story for some of the characters, and we've seen everybody before if you've watched Arrow or The Flash, and so we did have a specific episode though where we got introduced to Hawkgirl and Hawkman, or Hawkwoman and Hawkman. And we sort of got an introduction of Vandal Savage. So, we're not new to who he is as a baddie, but, for those who are just tuning into Legends of Tomorrow, you're just getting your first introduction to him. And the series premiere was pretty decent. Obviously, there was a lot of trying to get everybody together. There were a lot of side conversations as to whether they should all, first of all, join this Legends of Tomorrow. Rip basically told them that they were going to be these huge legends in the future. And so most of them jumped on that to become superheroes that would be legendary. And of course, by the end of the episode, we find out that he kind of lied about the whole thing. Yes, Vandal Savage is his nemesis, and he wants to kill him because he murdered his family and many other families at some point in the future. I think it was like 2166 or something like that. So there's a lot of damage that this man does, and we already know that he's killed Kendra and Cantor like 263 times or something like that. So yeah, he is somebody who is linked to them, and the only way that I think he can die is if Hawkgirl kills him, or Hawk Woman. So of course or Hawkgirl, yes. Sorry. And so we also were introduced to a man who turns out to be Hawkgirl's son. And obviously this was way back when, and he's a grown man, and she meets him for the first time, or I guess is reintroduced to him. And then sadly, by the end of the episode, he dies. So, everyone has sort of got their own little mission now that they're going on. They want to prove that they can change the future and do it on their terms, and they can become legends in their own right, even though the future might not be predicting that. So, they're all sort of got the same agenda at this point. Well, at least most of them do. But, it was good to see all the characters back. Ray Palmer, Sarah, of course. Of course, we had Dr. Stein and Jefferson, who is Firestorm. And then we also had Snart and Mick joining into the fray. And, so we've got a group of, I don't want to say misfits because they're not really misfits, but, they don't all work together. They don't know each other. So it'll be interesting to see how the dynamic works between all of the characters. I think that it's going to be another, of course, case of the week type of a show with an overarching storyline that they're working towards, which is trying to get Vandal Savage. And then they also introduce another baddie towards the end of the episode, and he has another agenda. So, and he's the one who ultimately ends up killing Hawkgirl's son. So, there's a lot of moving parts in this premiere episode, but ultimately I thought it was pretty decent. I didn't hate it. This is obviously the third spinoff now to Arrow. We had The Flash, which has done really well, which did really, really well in its first season, and we're now halfway through the second season. So there's so many different DC characters and storylines that I'm sure can still come after this. Will we sort of oversaturate this market? we might be getting there, but we'll see how this goes. I've never read these comic books before, so I'm just going along and enjoying the ride. So, this episode was pretty decent. Rip has a good, aura, chemistry about himself. So I'm excited to see how he moves forwards with all of his storylines and what more we find out about his character, and and how much deeper they delve into all of the other 8 legends that we've already met so far. So yeah, let me know what you thought of this week's episode. Was it all that you thought it was going to be? Did it live up to the hype? I don't know if it lived up to the hype, but I also don't know if I really knew what they were going to do with this story and how they were going to draw us in to want us to stay intrigued for what this storyline is going to be for the rest of this season. So I think they did a pretty decent job, and we'll see where it goes from here. All right, guys, that's it for me. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be reviewing this show every week because my Thursday lineup is already so crazy. And if you know my channel, I review quite a few shows. And I just don't know if I'm going to be able to fit this one in. So I did want to review the pilot episode, and I know this is part 1 of 2, so I might do part 1 and then follow up with next week's part 2, but I'm not sure how I'm going to continue from there, just because time wise it's a lot to do, and a girl needs her rest. So all right, that's it for me. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.